Welcome back maybe to many of you. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning probably. Welcome to this 34th webinar, Areopa webinar, with the title Release the Power of Assisted Setup. Today our speaker is Krzysztof Bialowas. You might know him as the organizer, the initiator of the webinar that happens bi-weekly. Krzysztof has become, over the past year for sure, and probably, I didn't have you that much in view at that time, I think, Krzysztof, before a year, but you have become a very valuable resource to our community. So welcome, Krzysztof. Krzysztof suffers a little bit from a cold, a coughing, it's not very much or very often happening, and to me it was not that irritating. I'm happy that you're here, Krzysztof, on the, as you pointed out somewhere, the 4th of May, or the May the 4th be with you. It's nice. We had to postpone this due to the launch events of Microsoft at the start of April, and we came out at this date. So welcome, Krzysztof. Welcome everybody else. As you might know, I always run through a couple of slides just to be sure that everybody joining for the first time know how we handle things and where also our resources can be found. Your microphone is muted. You cannot unmute it. If you want to post questions and be invited to, put that in the question window. The GoToWebinar control has a couple of ribbons, and one of them is the questions ribbon. Feel free to use that. I will pick up the question, and I've agreed with Krzysztof that I will pose the question if it makes sense in the context of what he's telling, or otherwise I'll wait and pick it up later at the end or in between. For today, as always, we strive to finish at 5 o'clock, and especially today because Krzysztof also has to leave on time to pick up kids, and he cannot afford not to be there. We'll record this. As you might know, the recording is already running, and we will share this on our YouTube channel, which has been, now already 33 recordings of the previous one, and feel free to use it to whatever you want to use it. I always do my best to provide an index on it so you can easily jump through the recording if you want to use it later to return to a part of the recording. If you're not in the know of our newsletter, this is the URL. It's not that descriptive, but it's also not that long. Use it to subscribe to the newsletter. The funny thing is that we have more subscribers to the YouTube channel than to the newsletter, but maybe you inform each other. Feel free to subscribe. Upcoming webinars, we have, I actually have 2 entries, but actually there are 5 webinars to come. In 2 weeks, on May 18th, we'll have Stefan Strubbe, who is also going to, let's say, tell his story on Microsoft Dataverse, or what was used to be called the Common Data System. And then in the weeks after that, not really bi-weekly, because we're going to have a series on VS Code AL extensions. You see all the names of all the people that have been building in the past 4 or 5 years a number of AL extensions. You might know Andre. He was the first one that put on Visual Studio Gallery an AL extension next to the Microsoft ones. And then, more recent one I've been developing with David Veldhoff and Marton. But it's a bit an egoistic series also, because I want to learn a little bit more of a couple of extensions which I haven't been using really. But I also want them to show to all of us, what they have been doing, and a kind of, you could say, a kind of honoring them because they have been doing this for free. So I'm almost at the end of my first, of the introduction. As always, a call to everybody. If you have a topic, if you have speakers, or you want to be a speaker yourself, feel free to contact me, even if you have a little bit of reluctance of presenting something. Be welcome. It's, I think, low threshold. It's not about to make a perfect, of course, it's always nice to make a very smooth presentation, but it's more about sharing things. And before I'm going to hand off to you, Krzysztof, I want to thank Voornaaf being our sponsor, providing us the GoToWebinar to be able to to broadcast this too. So, Krzysztof, I'm now making you presenter and allowing you to start sharing your screen. Let's check that.
Can you see my screen?
I can really see your screen, and I can also hear your voice loud and clear. Krzysztof, it's up to you, and enjoy it, and well, show us the power.
Thank you. Thanks, Luc, for kind words at the beginning, and thank you all to being here. Today is a special day. Maybe some of you like Star Wars. If not, sorry for that, because there will be a few slides about the Star Wars as well. So 4th of May, I would like to show you assisted setup and power of it, what we can do with that. As I said, thank you very much for joining. I hope you will like it. And a few words about me already Luc said, but I will just say why I also want to talk about this topic. So first of all, I have some years of experience implementing NAV and Business Central, and previously I was working for Gold Partner and doing implementation in a lot of countries. So I have seen how we can use the assisted setup, but also how the implementation works. And now I'm looking from little different angle. So I'm working at Dynaway, which is ESV. Basically, I have angle from different sides, and what I will showing today is more for ESVs, but also some parts are also for implementing Business Central. So I hope I will find the balance here of the force. And yeah, you don't have my picture here, but I always showing this picture. That's Warsaw. So please visit me in Warsaw if you will have. And finally, we will be able to travel. Okay, but going to the topic. First of all, I should mention that we have still assisted setup, but there is something which I was very surprised when I seen that Microsoft released version 18, especially from code perspective. So the most important is that on GitHub there is no anymore module which is called assisted setup. They moved everything to guided experience. And why it's also important, if you are using assisted setup, unfortunately, you need to look on your code one more time and see what you have there, because Microsoft moved everything to the new module in System App, which is called Guided Experience, and you will have a lot of errors, which at some point will be breaking changes, right? So check this if you're already using assisted setup. If not, everything what I will be showing you today, it is using already guided experience. So I hope you will see it also today. Okay, so small agenda. What I would like to say, why it is important, and I really would like to also use this webinar to tell why we need to have assisted setup, how it can help us. And I also did some poll before we had this meeting, and I will also show you the results of that. So also I would like to talk a little about the strategy on onboarding quicker, and I would like to show you a demo. And also from the code perspective, but also from user perspective, what you can have, and of course Q&A. But as Luc said, if you will have anything in the middle when I'm talking, please just interrupt and ask. But first, something which I heard and why I also decided to take this topic as something which I really like after a year and a half is I heard something like this. We would like that our module will be used in 15 minutes after install. Can you imagine, for people, most of you probably are the consultants or developers, but you know how long it takes to implement ERP and also some modules, additional things, and so on. Can you imagine that it will working in 15 minutes after install? And that's something which I need to work with, and we are just trying to get to that time. I will try to show you how. And as I said, I asked a few questions about assisted setup and so on. So I'm really happy. I had over 50 answers, so it's a lot. And most people know what is assisted setup, and most people are using it. So just for the record, I would like to say what is the basic of assisted setup for those who don't use it. So basically, in an assisted setup, you can see the list of the things which need to be set to the system. So, for example, how to get ready with the first invoice, but don't think that it's so easy. Nevertheless, Microsoft prepared the list, and as you can see, also it's like a list of checking what you are doing and so on. So you have, if you completed it, but very important thing which I really like is that you have a help and video link. So we did a lot of, let's say, checking what people like more. And to be honest, videos is something which they really like, and especially younger people, and they prefer watch the video than read. So as I said, list of things which need to be done, and most you will find there step-by-step guides, and this is what I also will show you today. It also contains the guides for the data migration. So also we'll try to show you how you can do something like that. And but very important thing at the bottom here, it's not perfect. And I know that Jeremy is on this call. Sorry to mention it so much, but I don't think so that you can do something like go from in one place and from start empty database and go to one invoice just to using assisted setup as it is on the slide before. But I also think Microsoft is doing a lot to get us to such point. So another question which I asked was how you set up the data. I mean, not the master data or migration data, but how you set up the data, like unit of measures, payment terms, and so on, right? So a lot of people, 33% said that it's by rapid start, and that's really nice. And I also like rapid start. I will talk about this in a second. Now it's configuration packages are how it's called, but still there's a lot of people which are doing it manually, and other was rather a combination of those all mix which I have here. So yes, we are using the configuration packages. We are using little assisted setup, but with the configuration packages, how like Master Yoda said, loving and hating them I am, and that's true. I like configuration packages as an idea, and I'm using them. You will see it, but I hate them in some point. So the first, as you can see, I want to go to this one. What are the challenges? First of all, we need to store somewhere the configuration packages, right? Second is that someone need to import them and correct and run it in the correct order, right? And that's not very user friendly. Why I like them? Because they are good for the like a backend, let's say, and it's quite easy if you are a consultant, if you know it, how already to use them. It's quite useful, right? And we can import a lot of data. Problem, of course, is with the migration. It's if you have a lot of data, it's quite hard to use it sometimes. However, I was also able to import hundreds of thousands records for that. What I wanted to show also is that we have a lot of data which is common, right? So it means we should spend very few minutes to import that. And as you can see, people said that over 60% of people said that we have more than 50% of data common for all customers, right? So we should be able to fairly easy import it. And sometimes it's happening because around 60% of people say that it takes less than 1 day, right? Less than 1 hour, it was around 20 people. And I think that's something which we should aim. So less than 1 hour to import all the data. So we have, as you can see, over 50 people, but there are still people which for them it take more than 5 days, or a little less than 5 days, or less than 3 days, quite a lot of people. So still there is a place where we can improve in this. And how, getting to more technical things, how I propose it in our company and how we are doing it is we have assisted setup and we using configuration packages, right? So a lot of, maybe not a lot, but few configuration packages that someone can choose which type they want to use. Like, for example, they are working in the food industry, then it's this way. If they are working in other industry, then this is what you have. But imagine it as a list of available options which you can provide to your customers, right? Or even to your consultants, that they will just choose something which is most relevant for the customer which is using. So for that we are using the Azure function, and in the background we have Azure Blob Storage, which stores the list of those packages. And in the other flow, if someone will choose this package, we need to download it from somewhere. So again, we have an Azure function which trigger to our internal Azure Blob Storage and get the rapid start package and give user step by step clicking to get to the goal and setting up everything. Right. So now I will try to present you that, and so what I will present is first how to create an assisted setup and how to import the data for those packages, and how to also create migration packages on fly. So let me move to, first I will move to, sorry, to Visual Studio. And before you will see AL, I just want to show you that we have this Azure function, and we have in fact two Azure functions. One which is getting the list of packages. So I'm not an expert in C#. Those who knows me know that. But it's quite easy and small function is just getting the data from Business Central with the that we need some list of packages. What I'm sending also is a version of the app which is getting this data, and if the key which I have is exactly the same, then I'm just sending the list of my packages. And how I know what is the list of the packages? So I store this data on my in one file, JSON file in the Azure Blob Storage, and based on that, system knows how to get the list. So from AL perspective,
I have a table which store the data with the packages. So I have a name and package in only those two things. And what I have also is I have a code unit which connecting to my Azure function, and I import the data. And this is my special key which I'm sending. Normally it's a little more complicated, but it's just, that's not something which is really, let's say, data which is cannot be stolen, let's say. So I could imagine something more sophisticated here. Nevertheless, I'm sending this and system automatically knows where to get. And if I will go to the assisted setup, so maybe I will just show you the first part of it. So let's go to the assisted setup. And I have my set general setup. I will just click allow once. So this is my configuration packages which I have, right? One is called Han Solo and the second one Dark Side. But you can imagine that you can have multiple packages. And the good thing here is that, in fact, I just need a JSON file to get this data. So if I will open it, I will just open it with Notepad, you will see that it's very small JSON. I don't need anything more. It just say, what is the name? What is the package ID? So the name is Han Solo, and the package which I have is my NAV block Han Solo. How it's look from the from Azure perspective. The first thing, as I said, I have a function, and this is my function which we deployed. So get default setup list, and I also have, with help of my one of my friend, I also use the configuration here just to store information in which file I have this list. So I have default setup list, and I also have some connection string, and what is my secret, which you have seen already on AL side. So, but I have also a default setup container on my side, which stores this list and my packages, as you can see. So why I wanted to do it this way? Because every time if I will do some changes in the package, I just need to upload this here. I don't need to, especially in my case, I just need to, if I will do any change in the Business Central code in AL, I would need to go through validation, right, one more time. That's why I was thinking, okay, how I can do it that I can leave the data outside somewhere, and if I will get new data or new packages or something, need to change the data because something is wrong, I can easily have it without any additional app validation, because everything will be here. So sorry. So so this is how I have list of my packages. And one important thing is that I have also, as you can see, the container is called default setup, but with some numbers at the end. This is the version of extension which I have. So if I'm testing, for example, now new extension which is not yet published, for example, on AppSource, then I don't have the new one, new version. I have new version, and only developers can access to it, not the customers, and I can just have new things prepared without destroying their life. So this is how you get them. But what else? So when I choose the package, let's say Han Solo, as I said, one of the problem with the packages is that you need to run, sometimes you need to run tables in the correct order, or you would like to guide your user just in the correct order.
right? So if we will go next, now it will download the package, which will take a second, and hopefully it's still working. What I can prepare is a guided setup, step by step, just opening the setups which I want. And of course, I also can inform user with this a text which I stole from Microsoft Docs at this moment, but I can inform user or consultant what we are going step by step to set up Business Central, right? So, so this eliminate that someone is going to the wrong directions and will forget about something, right? So that's how it's work. From the code perspective, again, for a second, I will just move here. That's something which I need to, I have it here, a wizard, and that's something which is quite easy to build when you are using Waldo extension, because he has a really nice snippet to create such wizards. But only thing which I needed to do here is just add the steps, right? So let's say step which you see here, this is the setup payments, terms and methods with some instruction text, and it's visible only on step 2. You also see on this page some actions. So I have 2 actions. One is to show configuration for the for payment terms, and the second one is opening the the action for payment methods. So if I will click payment terms, what will happen? As you can see, it's not opening payment terms. Because we choose the package, it in fact opening the configuration package, right? And what consultant or user can do very fast is either he can say, okay, I don't need it, so I just delete some data, or for example, change the calculation or code. The one thing which I don't like is that you cannot add the data here, but that's not a big problem. And I will show you in a second why. To open this configuration package, I will just move again here, and will open my my data here. Unfortunately, I needed to rewrite Microsoft code and just change it a little bit. There is a function, standard function, which is called show package records, and it's working exactly as I wanted, except one thing. At the end, I need to have information what is the result of the run model of the page, and unfortunately, the standard doesn't give me that, right? So I needed to do some something here that I will know if it's okay or is not okay. And why? Because if I will just click cancel, nothing happened. But if I will click one more time, okay, system asks me if I would like to apply the data. And what I can do is say yes. And now I have 11 records inserted. And if I will click one more time, set data, as you can see, it not anymore show you the configuration package, but in fact, it's showing you the real data. And now I can do it as normal way to insert the data or correct it if it's needed. So the next thing, of course, is set up methods. I can do it exactly the same with the set unit of measures, right? So I can do it again. I have my 10 records. Next one, and set work types. And I don't have work types in the package. So what will open? It will just open the work types page, right? So guides like this can give you the control how you are doing the setup, right? So in which order? As I said, sometimes there is a data which need to be set first and then second. And trust me, even as a consultant, you can forget about something.
right? Like with the work types. I should have unit of measures before I will start setting up the work types. Of course, I could do it before, but it makes more sense to do it in this order because here I also need to use the unit of measure, which I already have, right? And I didn't have it before. So, so this is how you can build the guide, which will allows you and just to go step by step and set up. And again, very nice thing because you can also build the video and show users how to go step by step, also learning them with what to do. Should it always be user who is doing that? No, but I also think consultants can also do that, and it can be helpful even for consultants. And the other thing which I said is migration. And you know how it is with building the configuration package, export it to Excel, give it to customer or user and fill this and then import it, or which company I use for export, which for import, and so on and so on. Of course, everything is manageable, but you just have a lot of places where to visit and so on. But something which I stole from Microsoft is migration wizard. They are using it very similar. So I will just show you mine, but you can also see it in the standard. It will work very similar. So let's say, sorry, for a second. Let's say that you would like to migrate jobs, right? So how it's work? Again, I have a wizard, and the first thing which I need to do is download the template. But from where system knows this template and what will happen if I will click it, it will just download me the Excel file. I will just show you this one. Let me open this file. All right, so my Excel file is not very sophisticated. It has only few columns, but this is what I choose that I need to import the jobs. And as you can see, name, description, bill to customer, and so on. Of course, it could have more here Excel sheets with job task and so on. Yeah, but as you can see, I didn't go to assisted. I didn't go to configuration packages to get it, right? So from where it get it? Trust me, I didn't have this package anywhere. I just built it with the code exactly the same way as Microsoft is doing. So the first thing, this is my wizard. Again, I use Waldo tool to prepare it very quickly, and it has the same structure for everything. But what it's doing, it's just creating a configuration package. So there is some hard-coded values, as you can see here, but nevertheless, you can export the package with the date and so on. So the first thing is that I'm exporting a package. I need to tell to the system, and I'm telling it, give me a second, here, insert package tables, right? So I'm telling it here that I would like to insert a job table. So I'm just inserting the package with standard configuration package management code unit, the table. So I could do it with more, and the same with the fields. If I would like to add the fields, I just need to specify which fields and in which order I would like to have in my package, right? So this gives me, from my perspective, flexibility, right? Because what I can do, I can prepare the package and a user can download it, or I can download it from whenever installation it is. I don't need to create any configuration package by myself. Code is doing it for me. So that's for me, it's everywhere where I will open, in my case, our extension, I will know where to look and get the package. Of course, what else I should do is I need to import it, right? So the next step is that, oh, sorry. That system asked me to import the Excel package, and I can just choose the Excel which I want. Probably on this one, I have one record which will fail when I will install. But as you can see, I also going step by step and just importing the data if I need it, right? So and this also is faster way to do the migration. It may happen, of course, that you have some special fields which you needed, which are not exactly standard. And if you will see standard packages for items, customers, I could name like 20 fields which I would like to import as well. But the good thing is that the package is created automatically. I always can go to the configuration package and change it if it's really needed, right? So that's what I wanted to show you with the assisted setup here. And let me just go back to the presentation, because I feel that I also should mention you a few things which Microsoft is doing right now and which you also can use for the for assisted setup, onboarding your new customers, and how you can do it, that you will prepare it a better way than Microsoft did. So one thing which they introduced in the new system or new version 18 is a checklist. And I asked, will you use checklist? And 42% say yes, I'm really happy of that. And 25 say maybe. So that's why I also decided that 48% it was 48%. So that's why I also decided why we should talk about this checklist, or I should tell. And that's something, it should be a quote, and this should be from Microsoft. Basically what they said is checklists are to help partners. And even the checklist which they prepared, you probably already seen it. If not, I really recommend it to go and check. It's very general. It is really like a customer cannot do a lot with that. But what they said, the checklists are for partners, because we as a Microsoft doesn't know your end customer business, right? So you need to prepare the checklist which will help your customers. And I fully agree with that, right? So and this part is mostly for people which are implementing new Business Central, I mean new installations, not for ESVs. And there's a problems with using this checklist with ESVs, which I'm really not happy, because I would really like it, and I really like it, and I really would like to use it. So a few words about the demo, how to create own checklist and what are the types of the checklist items. I will go to my code again and will show you a few things. The first one is checklist, but I also need to mention and show you the code for the assisted setup. I already was using it. Sorry that I didn't show it before, but basically with the checklist, you have three things which you can use. One is assisted setup link. The second is manual setup link. And the fourth one is some help which will bring you to some website, which is very also nice. So how to create assisted setup
and create those things which you already seen, so those my pages in the assisted setup. First of all, what you need to do is to subscribe to the event subscriber for the guided experience, not anymore assisted setup, on register assisted setup. And here there are two enums which is nice to extend. The first one is assisted setup group, and this is the caption which you seen on in Business Central. So in fact, this is this group, right? So it's showing in the groups. And the second one is a video category, right? So you can put your videos in the correct category. So that's the the hardest thing, because there is a special function which is called in guided experience insert assisted setup, and what you need to do is you need to in fact have four. Let's say I will show on this. You need to have four labels. The first one, which is the just the text, which you have seen there, the description, and a video URL for that. You can use videos, you don't need, but if you will do, and there are two things which I would say here. The first one, which I was struggling quite a bit, is that if you are using, for example, YouTube or Vimeo, you need to have the link with embedded, otherwise it will not work, right? So always remember about this. The second one is I prefer, or in our organization, we prefer Vimeo, because technically you cannot update the YouTube video, but so the link will change from time to time. But in Vimeo you can update the links, so the link will stay. So you will not need to touch the code anymore. And the last thing which you don't need to have also is a help URL for this. And there is a trick related to the language, because we just need to add the translations for that as well. So at the beginning you set the current language value, right? And at some point you're just changing it and add the add translation for setup. And at the end, you change it back to what user was using. There was a problem with the assisted setup, but I know that it's fixed already, that translation were not working, but it should already. And as I said, there are three types. Here you will see two. One is the assisted setup, and this function, you just need to specify what is the page which you would like to open. And important thing is that you should do it only once for the same page. And the second option which I have here is the link for learn. So also you can add the link for learn, and it's much easier, as you can say. And what means this 10? This is something new in version 18. If you will just see like this, it's showing what is expected duration in minutes, how much time the user will spend on it. You will not see it in the assisted setup, but you will see it in a checklist. So it's quite important. And as I said, the checklist, there in fact is one, and Microsoft is doing it exactly the same. So, and that's something which I just took from them. With one small issue, I couldn't get it when I was installing the app, so I just install this this function, and it creates for me the checklist. And there's a subscriber, but most important is that not every user will see those things which we are doing here,
but only those people which will open the role center, which is accountant. In standard for Microsoft, if you would like to see the checklist, always use the role center, this business manager, because that's only one place where you will see the checklist. And so that's how you can create a checklist. You just need to again go to Coding checklist and insert it. You just need to specify what is the assisted, what is the type, and what is the page which you would like to open, and what is the order of it. And very important thing here is that if you are doing the link, it must be exactly the same to this which you have here. And exactly means also exactly by case sensitive. I had a problem when I used different here and different in the checklist. It was not shown. So how the checklist look like after such thing? I already skipped my checklist, so you will not see it, but there is a nice catch which you can do in the assisted setup. There is, if you don't see the checklist, there is a show checklist on the role center, right? So that's something which you also can use. It will relog in you and will open the checklist one more time. So let's go to Han Solo role center accountant. And as you can see, I have my checklist, and I already skipped those things. But normally, I don't have this one. So if I will click here, then I will be moved to my wizard, which I need to do, and I can mark it as completed if I want, or I can revisit. And with the link, I can just click the link and I will be moved to my website from that if I will just go. And there is also manual setup for checklist, so you can also use it for your customers and for your users. Checklist administration and checklist administration. This is exactly what we imported here, right? Or we put with the code, right? So as you can see, migrate jobs, set general setup, and there was something more about my blog, but I can see it somewhere. It is, but you can create new. So I can create new, and here I can only choose the things which are already by developers added to the system. So I can choose things from the assisted setup. That's why you need to add something to assisted setup to be able to show it. For example, default packages, that's the extension which I'm showing you. So I can add it, and the other option is manual setup, as I said. So this is things which you have from the manual setup, and I don't have anything here from my because I didn't add anything to the assisted setup as a manual setup. And the last thing is learn, and this is the link which we created. Learn more about the assisted setup, and the second one is from Microsoft. Right. So if you will not add it by program, you cannot add it from here, right? So Microsoft said that you can do it also from the configuration packages, but I think it's quite easy to do it from the AL code and have like a quick extension only for that if you need. There's one more thing. Still, we have a few minutes, as I say, and I will just give you. And I said to you this 15 minutes, and but one thing which we need to do from time to time is do some demos for the companies and future, maybe hopefully customers.
how to prepare it quite easy and just not if you have some data. And basically, at some point it was the question, can we use Kronos for that? Yes, it's really nice, and Kronos has a lot of things, especially when we're talking about the about things related to to posting and so on. But unfortunately for me, everything is custom data and I cannot use it, and it means that every time I would need to create the data every time the same data. Of course, I could use a copy company, have one company, but at some point I need to remove all my data and, for example, update Business Central, then I will lose it. So I will just move for a second, and I would like to show you something which is in something which I'm using to prepare the data, and that's something why I'm showing this. It's only for purpose that you can see that it can work. As you can see, I don't have anything. I even don't have a setup, but with one button on our side, I just have create a demo company, and it says, okay, you should do it on production setup. This is what we choose, and of course, it's also checking if I'm not using the production company, but I can click which, and you can see the similar pattern which you've seen on with the packages. So I can choose which type of the company I would like to have. I would like to have a starter, and just a few minutes later, I hope we will still see it, but we can move to the questions if we have already, if we have some. But at this moment, the demo company is just creating, and let's see how long it will take me to have a data.
While it's running, there's one question, Krzysztof, from Manfred Gertz. How about handling translation, so multi-language part like payment terms, translations, etc.? Have you had something done on that already, or thoughts on it?
Yeah, you can. Basically, you can. Yeah, it depends. How I see it is, and I will just open maybe one more company just for that. Let's see. All depends of your package, right? So I was not thinking like some external tool which can sorry, translate it for us. But what you can do is, for example, sorry, not this one, and go to the assisted setup with this. In fact, you can have it as the packages here, which you can have, for example, per language, or for example, you can have Han Solo in Polish and Han Solo in English, right? And then you just can push it also in your Rapid Start package and just import it also with the with the payment terms, for example, automatically, because it's just a table in Business Central, as I remember, right? So I haven't think about such things like translating automatically, which I think makes sense in our world, right? So and that also can be very useful. I think it's really nice that, for example, you can translate it automatically, right, with one button. That would be really great. Oh, just sorry, with the next question, as you can see, I already have a demo company, and trust me, let's just refresh this one. It's fully working. So I have all the data which I really need to prepare the demo, right? As you can see, I have some items. I will just refresh this data. As you can see, now I have much more, right? And it took us 3 minutes, right?
I've got myself a question. Let's say all the code you showed as examples, do you share them? Do you have kind of a repo where we can access them?
Yes and no. At some point, I will show. This code which I prepared here. Definitely, I would like to share with you. But I also would like to write an article just how to use this code.
Of course.
Yes, this part I will be very happy to share with you.
Yeah, and I'll put a link on the YouTube page where the recording will be. There are no other questions, Krzysztof, so it's been quite clear, I guess. I surely got a couple of new inputs. I did use system data setup in the past, but not this way, so thank you very much for that. Is there anything you would like to share still? We're moving to the hour again.
No, I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you. But the most, even if you will not use this way, I just want to have that you will have one thought at the end. Think of assisted setup, guided list, and everything else what Microsoft in fact is doing, like something which will help us, right? And something which gives us that we will do our job better and faster, right? So that's how I see it, right? And especially with the checklist, why I'm saying that we should just create our own checklist for users, right? Microsoft will not do it for us, right? I would say.
Thank you very much. No questions left, so and almost no time left. Thank you very much, Krzysztof.
Thank you very much.
Martin pointed me, and I didn't check it, but I wasn't aware that my slides were not moving at the start. I'll check it in the recording, and I will add the slides that I was talking about. Probably my screen was still frozen, so my slides moved, but you didn't see that. Sorry for that, but I will fix that in the recording. Krzysztof, thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody, for having joined in today. And let's meet again in 2 weeks' time when Stefan Strubbe will present on Dataverse. Bye for now, and see you later.